Recently, Chinese power bank leader Romoss has come under intense scrutiny, especially regarding safety issues. Some of its products have reportedly caught fire. We previously covered safety concerns in our videos. And today, we will provide an update on Romoss's current situation. On the evening of July 3rd, a worker from the Shenzhen factory revealed to the media that Romoss's factory had shut down at the end of June. He stated that all of Romoss's factories are now halted, and the company's owner has changed. Hundreds of thousands of power banks are being returned, and distributors are also recalling products. It seems that the company is done, and nothing can save it now.
Romoss
is in crisis. After over a decade as a leader in the power bank industry, its products have caused serious incidents. This year, a plane caught fire due to Romoss's power bank, followed by several cases of power banks catching fire in university dormitories. Major Korean companies have refused to accept Romoss brand power banks, which is escalating the company's crisis.
The recall issue has severely impacted Romoss's operations. According to reports from Chinese media outlet, multiple Romoss employees confirmed that starting July 1st, the company began notifying employees of a full shutdown, with no official announcement made yet. Wages have only been paid up to June. Employees also revealed that the company laid off a number of workers in early June. They are uncertain about future wages. After the shutdown, only basic wages may be paid. The recall issue also affected Romoss's distributors. According to reports from Chinese media, a distributor stated that after the recall, all of their Romoss power bank products that were worth over $1,000,000 have been unsellable. Romoss has refused to accept returns, and even selling at a 20% discount has not attracted buyers. Subsequently, after negotiations with Romoss, the distributors agreed on a solution to replace the power banks with charging cables and chargers in batches. These will be exchanged as sales go on. More sales, more exchanges. The news of Romoss's complete shutdown quickly spread, and many speculated that the company was on the brink of collapse. The phrase Romoss bankruptcy soon became a trending topic on social media in China, with some questioning whether the company was preparing to flee. One blogger remarked that due to the recall crisis, Romoss would likely never recover. While it hasn't officially reached bankruptcy yet, the situation is already dire. The owner appears to have fled, marking the company's descent into its worst state. The blogger added that they deserved it, as Romoss has always put consumer safety at the bottom of the priority list, disrupting the market with low-priced products that have harmed the industry environment. On the night of July 3rd, Romoss's official Weibo account denied the bankruptcy rumors, stating, "We are not bankrupt. Thank you for your concern. We will work hard to address all issues for our friends, users, and partners." However, the public remains skeptical. One person commented, "On July 2nd, Romoss made a quick change of legal representative, and this was less than 3 months since the last change. They're about to flee." Romoss has changed its legal representative twice in 4 days. According to Tianyancha, a Chinese business information platform, on July 3rd, Romoss's affiliated company, Shenzhen Romoss Technology, underwent another change, with Lei Xingrong stepping down as legal representative, director, and manager. He was replaced by Lei Shexing. Furthermore, Romoss's subsidiary, Shenzhen Huazhong New Materials Technology, recently underwent a business change, with Lei Zirong added as a shareholder and Lei Shexing stepping down as legal representative, director, and manager. He was replaced by Lei Zirong. The company's registered capital was also increased from 6 million yuan to approximately 6.06 million yuan. Regarding the June business changes, Romoss responded, stating that the company is currently undergoing restructuring and focusing all efforts on internal inspections and preparing for new products. Additionally, some people have reported that Romoss is in debt for store deposits. Others believe Romoss is definitely facing a major crisis.
I woke up and the sky fell for the domestic power bank giant, Romoss. This time, it might really be over.
The host explained that Romoss sky falling refers to the collapse of consumer trust in the brand. This is not just due to the recall issue, but also because its 3C certification was suspended. 3C refers to China compulsory certification, so essentially, all of Romoss's power banks are now unable to be sold, and they've been pulled from shelves. It's important to note that Romoss's main business has been the sale of power banks, so the inability to sell its products has a huge impact, essentially causing the company's foundation to collapse. The longer the situation persists, the greater the impact will be on sales, and the more widespread the collapse of the brand's trust will become. Recently, several consumers reported that when they attempted to request refunds from its official Taobao store, they were told the seller's account balance was insufficient to process the refund. One consumer told Chinese media, Jiupai News, that the refund process has been stalled for dozens of days, and that despite contacting the seller, they received no response. They explained that Taobao customer service replied that the seller didn't have enough funds to issue a refund, and they're urging the seller to pay the deposit.
我感觉就是这波
I feel like consumers are really being set up in this power bank incident. Wasn't the issue already exposed? I had that model, but it wasn't from the affected batch. But they refused to give me a refund. I thought it would be safe since it's from another batch. Then the next day, the product was pulled from the shelves. Not only was it pulled, but it also showed that the refund had been completed. What's going on? A refund? I checked the past 2 months of records and there was no refund notice. They just claimed the refund was done? Then I contacted customer service and they ignored me. Romoss set me up. This influencer explained that after a friend recommended it, she had bought the Romoss power bank for 140 yuan. 3 days after purchasing it, she found it charged her phone very slowly, and even charging, the phone still lost power. When she contacted customer service, they avoided giving a refund. Now, with reports of potential explosions, she wants to return it, but Romoss still refuses.
人快递都不收这充电宝，我
The couriers won't even accept it. How am I supposed to send it back? What's the point of a recall if I can't even return it? Am I supposed to ride a bike to your place? I'd be exhausted by the time I get there. I still have one at home. I can't even find the other one. You know, it feels like a time-ticking bomb.
The person stated that he doesn't feel safe having Romoss power banks in his house, fearing they might explode one day, and now no one dares to use them. Multiple courier companies have refused to accept the recalled batches of power banks, and Romoss has advised consumers to safely dispose of the power banks and then register for a refund. However, according to China Newsweek, several consumers have reported that after customer service advice and safely disposing of their power banks, they were told they could not receive a refund and would only be compensated 5 yuan, which they found unacceptable.
害怕充电宝爆炸，然后四句滋。
I was scared of my power bank exploding, so I spent a lot of money to buy an expensive one. Now you tell me that even the expensive ones can explode. Even though there's a recall plan, I applied, but it was rejected. What's the point of having a recall if you won't process it? Are you going to let it explode in my hand instead? Giving me a glimmer of hope only to extinguish it right away. The influencer expressed her frustration, mocking Romoss for not being able to handle a recall. She said if the company can't handle a recall, then they shouldn't implement one in the first place, as it's a waste of goodwill. Many people have complained in the company's comment section, saying customer service reads the messages but doesn't reply. Romoss responded, stating, due to a high volume of customer inquiries, this recall plan is long-term. Please give us some time, and we'll make every effort to resolve all issues. The Romoss incident is deeply connected to its battery supplier, Amprius Technologies, a leading company in China's consumer lithium-ion battery sector. The root cause of this issue can actually be traced back to Amprius, the battery cell supplier. Amprius is a leading battery cell manufacturer, with clients including big names like Xiaomi and Anker. However, the problem ultimately points to a small factory in Jiangxi, because Amprius outsourced its production to this small factory. The factory secretly replaced the raw materials for the battery separator, which caused a reduction in the separator's insulating performance. A faulty separator can be pierced by lithium dendrites over time, leading to short circuits between the positive and negative electrodes, which, in extreme cases, can result in overheating, fires, and even explosions. She explained that many industries today rely on private label manufacturing, and brands don't check the origin of the battery cells, leading to a domino effect supply chain failure. As Romoss announced its complete shutdown, Amprius also reported to have ceased production. According to a report from PC Home, employees from Amprius revealed that part of the company's production lines were shut down on June 25th. There were no signs of large-scale production at the factory, and nearly 20 battery and battery cell 3C certifications were marked as suspended. Internal employees confirmed that only a few staff remained at the factory, which had essentially entered vacation mode. The local Wuxi Market Supervision Administration stated that the investigation is still ongoing. Amprius has also been a battery supplier for other Chinese brands such as Ugreen, Baseus, and Dengyou. This issue didn't only affect Romoss. On June 25th, Anker Innovations, which also used Amprius's battery cells, announced the recall of faulty products, directly pointing to the supplier's unapproved changes in battery cell materials. On June 20th, Anker issued a voluntary recall announcement on its Chinese website, recalling certain batches of models, totaling over 712,000 units. In response to the recall, Anker stated that it had ended its partnership with Amprius. The impact of this incident has extended beyond manufacturers to to the airport and high-speed rail systems. On June 28th, the Civil Aviation Administration of China implemented new regulations, with airports nationwide intercepting over 1,000 unapproved power banks, or those falling within the recall range each day. On July 1st, the Railway Customer Service stated that high-speed rail only requires power banks to have clear markings and a rated energy of less than or equal to 100 watt-hours. Consumers were caught off guard, and searches for 3C certified power banks surged by 180%.
Do you think other companies are happy that Romoss is in trouble? This incident affects the entire power bank industry. Do you believe that? Right now, many people aren't just concerned with which brand of power bank to buy. They aren't planning on buying at all, because this small device could really ruin your life, and the consequences are that severe. Are you scared yet?
Behind the storm, the Chinese power bank industry is actually facing a crisis. Although Chinese companies like Anker, Xiaomi, and Romoss hold about 27% of the global market share in the power bank industry, the recall incidents have exposed cracks in this dominance. On June 12th, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issued an urgent notice requiring the immediate cessation and recall of over 1 million Anker-branded mobile power products. Anker had long held the top spot on sales platforms like Amazon. On June 25th, Anker Japan also announced the recall of 4 power bank models. The notice stated that, starting from September 2024, 2 models had been recalled and replaced. However, further investigation revealed improper use of materials by the supplier, prompting the recall to expand to include 2 additional models, totaling 4 products affected by the recall. In addition to well-known power bank companies, the Chinese shared power bank market has also encountered problems. A recent article by Chinese media, CHO Business Review, noted that the Chinese shared power bank market is currently characterized by concentrated leaders and diverse competition. Meituan's power bank service has long been the industry leader, with 770 million users and 14.5 million merchants. Companies like Energy Monster, Dian, and Lidian Technology also hold certain market shares. In terms of corporate listings, Energy Monster went public in the U.S. in 2021, but initiated privatization in January 2025 due to its stock price staying below $1, representing an 85% loss from the issue price. It is currently in the delisting process. Anker Technology, embroiled in this battery cell safety issue, is listed on the Chinext board, but now faces recall issues. Dian previously attempted an IPO in Hong Kong, but was unsuccessful. The shared power bank market had already begun to decline as early as 2017. The China Business Herald reported that the investment boom in shared power banks seemed fleeting. At its peak, there was a rush of 1.2 billion yuan in capital within 40 days, but by the end of that short-lived surge, the first company had already exited. In October 2017, a shared power bank company in Hangzhou officially announced the suspension of its power bank service in its official WeChat account. By October 13th, it had recalled all its power bank equipment and advised users to withdraw any unclaimed deposits. The company's customer service was either busy or unresponsive. Reports suggested that more and more people were concluding that shared power bank companies are starting to go out of business. While it might have been too early to call, the industry was certainly experiencing a downturn. Negative news about shared power bank companies was rampant, including Dian being exposed for layoffs, Dian's failure to deliver on a 500 million yuan financing deal, and Lidian being accused of malicious competition. By December 2017, more than a dozen shared power bank companies had fallen from the peak of the shared economy, becoming part of history. During the pandemic, shared power banks were especially hit, with fear most offline businesses were affected, and shared power banks, which were provided for customers in stores, also suffered. Macro-level data supports this trend. According to data from the Jinduan Research Institute, in 2018 and 2019, the average rental time for shared power bank users in China was 2.3 and 2.1 hours, respectively, with rental frequencies of 1.3.56 billion times. However, in 2020, the average rental time dropped to 1.3 hours, and rental frequency growth slowed significantly. An article from Chinese media, Frontline Entrepreneurship, stated that in February 2022, shared power banks were thrust into the spotlight due to rumors that Dian had laid off 2,000 employees. In response, Dian claimed that it had not laid off staff, but had undergone a business upgrade. Before this, more than 90% of locations were direct operated, but with the company facing transformation, the burden of maintaining direct operations in a loss-making situation became unsustainable. An industry observer of shared power banks mentioned that securing merchant locations is key to success. However, since shared power bank companies struggle to control the bargaining power over locations, they're forced to increase the entry fees and commissions charged to merchants, which results in growing marketing expenses, ultimately becoming a profit black hole. Companies have slowly shifted away from the direct operated model to embrace an agency model to lighten the load. Though some shared power bank companies have survived the economic downturn, business seems more difficult. With the overall economic downturn in China and fierce competition in the shared power bank market, leading companies like Energy Monster and Dian have been forced to invest heavily to capture market share, but their profit margins have been squeezed. Both shared power banks and the leading power bank companies mentioned earlier are facing crises. In China's current economic model, even the most promising industries are clouded by an uncertain future.